You're listening to The Real Deal Conversations, a podcast designed to encourage, inspire, and equip you by sharing real stories and meaningful conversations that bring real life to the surface. I'm your host, Megan Deal. Let's dive in. I am with Whitney Guison, and for those of you who don't follow my Facebook page, I did a recent announcement where Whitney is going to be a monthly regular. And so excited. We are going to have different topics that we're going to talk on once a month. So this is what I was thinking in the car. I was like, how should we intro? And I was like, maybe I can be like, I'm Megan.
And I'm Whitney.
Oh, I like how you're very professional. I was like, I'm
You bring
Megan.
the hype, I bring the not hype.
I know. I am a hype girl.
Yeah.
What do you feel like?
And I'm a subdued personality.
Okay. So we are, I don't think so. I actually think you're pretty, the first time I ever met you or saw you was at a Win thing, and you were pretty energetic.
Yeah, I can definitely bring the energy. But if somebody else is already bringing the energy, I just feel like I don't have to compete with that. Like, you got it. So I'll just support your energy.
Oh, I like that.
So
that's good. See, this is a good duo. And today we are going to real talk about the things that nobody really likes to talk about and possibly are afraid to even admit that they experience, because it's those things that you're like, I experience this. I would love to connect with somebody else, but I don't want to be the first one to say that I do experience it.
Because you feel like it's your own unique problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's like, or what if I say it and then they're like, no, I don't experience that. And now I just feel like a dummy.
So we're about to blow all the listeners' minds by saying none of your experiences are unique. Sorry. We all been there.
Yes. And bring it to life so that you guys don't have to. And we'll just be the first ones to rip the Band-Aid off.
Let's do it. Rip it off. Let's go.
So, okay. Band-Aid ripped off. We're going to talk about walking into a room where you know no one, aka networking. Mm-hmm. Not just networking, though. I mean, you can also be like stay-at-home mom and walking into a room like at playgroup or MOPS or something. I mean, this is not unique to just networking. Impostor syndrome and success guilt.
Oh, I like that you just laid out like our outline.
I know.
We feel so official.
It is.
You're going to keep us on track today.
So official.
We're not
I don't know if we're
today.
going to stay on track.
Oh, we're staying on track.
I don't know if that's really in either of our fortes, but we're going to attempt. Okay, so walking into a room where you know no one. I'm going to let you know. So when I worked at Big Brothers Big Sisters, I was community engagement. Mm-hmm. I had to, like, that's what I did. Networking, all the meetings, all the things, da-da-da-da-da. And I think people usually think that because I am in front of a mic for so much of what I do, that it's like, oh, she's super outgoing. She must be extroverted. I am not. Mm-hmm. I am, and we've talked about this, like conversationally, I am terrified of conversations that do not have a goal.
Yeah.
Like if there is not a forethought in, like, this is fine. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Or conversations that don't feel like they have substance to them, right?
Yes.
Like you're like, hey, my name's Whitney, and man, it's hot. And you're like, oh, dang.
I know.
And there's the start of that conversation. And the end, There's no point to it. There's no depth to it.
Yeah.
I'd rather walk into a room and be like, hey, what's your worst fear?
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Absolutely.
But people don't like to talk about that.
No.
So it's hard.
I was at the back to school bash at the pool, and I walked in and I saw so many people I knew. I was like, oh, I would love to say hi to them, but I didn't, because I was like, I don't know how to small talk.
Right.
Small talk is really hard for me. I don't get it. I don't comprehend it. How does it begin? Where does it end? Is this too long? Is it too short? Am I taking up too much of their time? Are they wanting to walk away?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How do I read all that?
Yeah.
So you said, you did this all the time, right? Walking into rooms, you didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And you hate it.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
So I forced myself through it.
And did what though? Like, what did that look like?
So I like inwardly uncomfortable. Inwardly I'm like, but on the outside, I'm just like, okay, just put your face on, smile, say hi. And I think too, and I kind of look back on this, like whenever I think like a podcast was really awkward, like if I was like, man, I was real awkward, or man, why did I say that? Or that probably sounded weird. And then I go back and listen to it, and it's none of that.
Yeah.
And so I do kind of wonder if it's more so in my head, and outwardly people don't even give it a second thought.
Well, would you say you were pretty good at networking?
I am really good at networking, but it's also because I'm able to just power through it. So let me give you, okay.
Yeah. I'm going to put, tell me what that means.
Yeah. So I like walking in, going up, hi, I'm Megan, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. What do you do? Where, and doing, honestly, it's kind of observing what other people do and then going, okay, I'll just do it that way.
Yeah.
And then giving it my own spin and then they'll tell me what they do and I'll just be like, and you can always tell that they're just as uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, and that kind of gives me like a piece of like, okay, we're both uncomfortable. Let's just walk through this.
Yeah.
And networking sometimes I think is a lot of just like motions. And I think everybody's going through the motions, the same questions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. And
yes.
I hate it.
Yes.
But you do it.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so anyway, and then just kind of reading, okay, the conversation's kind of dimming down. So then I'll be like, well, I'm going to go meet some other people, introduce, or finding a table where somebody's already sitting and then sitting next to them, knowing almost 99% sure they're just as uncomfortable, just as nervous.
Yeah.
And then just sitting by them and having a conversation and just powering through it. Honestly, that's all I have. I am not a pro. I'm good at powering through. Yep. I'm good at being in high pressure and just charging. But that doesn't mean that's not something I'm skilled at.
And I don't think you have to be comfortable to do it well. And so I think people tend to think of themselves as, oh, I'm good at this once I'm comfortable in it. You can be good at it and uncomfortable at the same time. It's kind of like I just did a public speaking workshop, and when I told the group that I still get nervous when I get up in front of a group of people, they were like, "What?" But that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm nervous about it the whole time.
Yes.
It's fine. You can be good at it and still be nervous about it.
Absolutely.
I will say, to your point, I'm really good at that first impression. The first time I meet somebody and network, I'm really bad at follow-up meets. I met them once already. I had that really, because I have questions I keep in my back pocket that aren't, man, this weather is crazy. I try to steer away from that, even though I do find myself landing in the weather. Sometimes the weather deserves to be acknowledged. We're in Missouri, so that's fine. But what projects are you working on? I have these back, especially if I'm in a professional setting. What projects are you guys working on right now? Or oh, hey, did I just see that you guys are what have I seen about you guys recently on socials? Is something big going on? I try and have something in my back pocket.
Yeah.
So I'm really good at that first impression. But then the second time I meet them, I'm like, oh no, I've already asked them all those questions. Now what do I talk about? So that's when I have to power through and be like, okay, next question that I have for you.
Yeah.
I will say too, I wonder if you experience this, and you'll have to tell me if you do, as a more social person, but you don't like the small talk, and you also have a strong personality. I have to tell myself this, and you tell me if you have to tell yourself. If I might be, maybe this is my unique thing, but probably not. I have to remind myself it's not only my job to carry a conversation. Do you have to ever remind yourself of that?
No, but I like that, and that's really good perspective to think about, because that is true, and I have not even stopped to think about that.
I was in a meeting today, and there was 4 of us in this meeting, and I remember in my brain telling myself, you don't have to carry the conversation. Let silence fall. Someone will pick it up. It doesn't have to be you,
Yeah.
Because in my personality, I have to, if there's silence in a group or discomfort in a group, I assume the responsibility of taking care of that and making everyone feel comfortable.
Yes.
And I've been training myself to just remind myself silently. I don't say it out loud. I don't have to carry the conversation. Can you imagine? But in my brain, just remind yourself it's not only your job. Yes, you have to do your part. You can just be a bump in a log. But for personalities like mine and probably like yours, it's very helpful to just remember they can do it too. They can ask you questions.
See, so I have not got to that other side. I've always been on the one side where it's like, oh, it's silence. I need to keep this going. I need to carry. Yes, taking that responsibility. Also, yes, but not thinking about, wait a minute, this isn't, because what I typically do is I just start talking about myself to feel like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. And I honestly don't like that. And I'll walk away from the conversation and be like, dang it, why did I? But it's because I'm trying to fill the space. Yeah. And I'm like, that sucks. I don't like that I just put all the attention on myself.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my go-to. I did it at that back to school bash. I went up to Giddens and was like, hey. And then it was like kind of silence. And then I just stood there and I was like, what do we do? And that's where I get stuck. I'm like, what do I do? But I think it's,
I heard on a podcast, a different podcast, not yours.
Yeah.
And now I'm stealing it and putting it on your podcast.
No, do it.
I heard that a good way to end a conversation is to talk about upcoming plans, because it like switches the psychology of the conversation to like the future, and it makes people want to like end it. Like, hey, what do you got? You have anything fun going on this weekend? Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, cool. Well, have fun with that. Bye.
Okay, but
I haven't tried it yet, but
but here's my problem. I'm like, once I end a conversation, I don't know how to like the finalizing and like the final words. Like, I
you
know
can't just say it was nice to meet you.
Well, but what if it's somebody that I know?
Oh, it was nice.
And then I'm like,
I'm glad I saw you again.
Okay, so like there's one person I saw at the chamber lunch, and we were talking while you were talking on stage, and
of course you were.
I know, and I literally was like, "Gosh, I gotta sit down when he's talking." Then we were standing, and I was like, "Oh, you know what?" And I actually threw it on you. I was like, "Oh, Whitney, she's gonna see that I'm talking."
Oh, like, Whitney's gonna be so mad at me right now.
I did. I was like, she's gonna probably. This is what I said. I said, Whitney's probably going to text me and be like, Megan, you're talking. You would never do that. You would never do that.
Wouldn't.
You don't even always text me back regardless, period. And so I literally was like, she would never do that. But in fairness, I have told you also, I'm really bad at texting people back too, which is why I'm never offended when somebody doesn't text me back. I'm totally fine with having a one-sided conversation. And anyway, and I was like, man, she's probably going to text me. I got to sit down. But I did that because I didn't know how to end the dang conversation.
That's okay.
I know.
It's going to be awkward. I think at least I learned a long time ago that I'm just an awkward human, and that's okay. Yeah. We can be awkward.
Yeah.
Like, lean into your awkward self, you know? Yeah. I've literally been like, all right, I got to go. Like, like I feel the awkwardness, so if you lean into it, it's almost you're being so funny. Like, okay.
Yeah. Not really, but great. Cool.
I'm glad you think so, because it's covering the awkward right now. And that's okay. Like, no one's going to be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. 100%.
She's the most awkward human I've ever met.
Or they'll be like, that's just her charm.
Yeah.
She's awkward, and that's just part of her charm.
Yeah. And if they don't like your awkwardness, they're not going to like you anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It is
100%. To say all this, if you're struggling with networking or meeting new people and being in groups like moms groups and all the things, you're so like all of this that we said is so normal. Like, it's not, it is not unique to you feeling like, how do I have these conversations? But kind of like what we're saying to kind of end cap this, so many people are going to be in the same boat.
Yeah.
What you're feeling is probably a lot less noticeable than what you think it is. And just, WIN is a great, and I will say this, I'm not just like saying this because Whitney's on the show. I'm saying it because I have attended WIN, which is Working Women in Nixa, is the ladies luncheon. That's like the first Tuesday.
Third
Tuesday of every month. There really are some great women in there that, if you feel awkward, I promise you will find somebody there. Like, you will find somebody there who is just kind, and I can think of so many just right now off the top of my head that would just absolutely bring you to their table and just make you feel like you've been apart for a long time. So that's one good place. And here's another tip I have. When you find one person at a networking meeting, make them your networking buddy.
Yeah.
And then say, hey, would you like to go to whatever the upcoming network event is? And then you get a networking buddy. And then you guys meet somebody and you start kind of gathering your networking buddies. And all of a sudden it goes from, because now I will say this, I didn't say this in the beginning. Networking is very hard in the beginning. The more you start to kind of get those buddies and you start going places, or you find somebody and you say, hey, can you introduce me to some people? The easier it gets. It's kind of like the more involved you get, the longer you do it.
Yeah.
It's just naturally, it's just very organic. And you're going to start knowing all these people now. And so it does get easier. I should say that.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
There's always somebody you can fall back on.
Yes.
The longer you've been going to whatever group it is that you're trying to break into.
Yeah. And if you're like, I don't even know who to ask to be my networking buddy, find the person in the room who's not talking to anybody. That's going to be your new networking buddy. Because it's very likely that they are in the same boat, and they are going to be so thankful that you came up to them and asked them to be your networking buddy. You can use your own terms if you want to, whatever.
Will you be my networking buddy?
Will you be my buddy?
They're like, what age are we?
What's that bench in school? if you don't have a buddy, you sit on the buddy bench.
I would name it the buddy bench.
It is. It's the buddy bench.
I didn't know that existed in school.
It does.
I grew up in California. We did not have buddy benches.
Yeah, you did not. So no, it is the buddy bench. Nixa Schools has them. And if you don't have a friend, you sit on that bench, and the other kids, that's their cue to come up and ask you to play.
I love that.
I know.
Trying to figure out how to incorporate that in our chamber now.
I know. My son is very outgoing, but for some reason continued to want to sit on the buddy bench and make it a whole thing. And I was like, you're so outgoing.
He just made more and more friends. I love it.
I know. It was anyway.
It's like life hack number 1.
I know.
Be the outgoing person who sits on the buddy bench.
I'm telling you, he's the youngest. He's the youngest kid. And I feel like the youngest are the geniuses. They're the ones that just hack everything.
My youngest is 3, so I'm not sure where he's going to fall.
Just wait. He's going to be a genius.
I don't doubt it.
Yes.
He outthinks me right now.
I'm telling you, it's the youngest. It's a whole thing. So anyway, so that's actually my biggest takeaway for you from me is find a buddy, don't know where to start, find the person in the room that is by themselves, ask them to go to meetings, and it'll make it 100 times easier.
Love it.
Yeah. So, okay, imposter syndrome.
I told you.
I know.
This has got to be you because I'm dealing with it right now.
I know.
So
it's a thing. And I was thinking about this morning and like what has been my fallback in imposter syndrome. I had like several thoughts on it. And please chime in at any point. Is one, again, just like networking, I think the inner thoughts are so much louder than what people actually see. And for the people that see us doing it, they're like, oh, that's so cool that they're doing this.
That's such your strength. You're so good at it.
Yeah. Yep. But for us, it's new. And we've been with ourselves our entire life. And so for us, we know our background. We know everything leading up to it. We know all the inner workings. And so it's like, again, so much louder in our head. Like, how am I getting to this point? And this is what I was thinking. And Whitney knows by now, but if you're just tuning into this, I relate a lot of stuff to people in the Bible. It's just kind of my go-to on like whatever they experienced is going to be something that we experience natural. And so my go-to for imposter syndrome is Moses. And the reason why is because Moses, he looked at God and he was like, who am I? When God called him to lead the Israelites out of slavery. And he was like, who am I? And the backstory to that too is Moses had just accidentally killed somebody and then covered it up. And so now he has, and it was a soldier or a guard for the Egyptians, and the Israelites had seen it. And they were like, we don't need you. Like, you don't need to be our, so he didn't have any respect from the people. And I have a point to this, I promise you guys. He didn't have any respect from the people God was calling him to lead out. And then he didn't have any respect from the people that he was adopted into. He just killed one of their people and he runs. So I'm setting that up. That's the setup to the story is this guy is like, I don't even know who I am right now. Like, what is happening? God calls him to lead the Israelites out. And he says to God, he's like, who am I? Like, and some people are like, well, that's him saying, am I Hebrew, am I Egyptian? I don't think so. I mean, it could be an and, could be that and, but I think it's also like, dude, do you not know what I just did? Do you not know my life? Do you not know my life story? Like, I'm adopted. I just killed somebody. These people don't respect me. And now you're going to ask me to do this. They're not going to take me seriously. Then he goes, again, I got to point to this, guys. Then he goes and to Pharaoh to say, let them go. Because God's like, hey, just go to him. Just tell him, And Pharaoh's like, no. And not only does he say no, after Moses just hyped these Israelites up, he's like hyping them up, like, hey, we're going to get you out of slavery, da, 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 da. And they're like, yeah, cool, paraphrasing. And he goes to Pharaoh. Pharaoh's like, no. And not only does Pharaoh say no, but he's like, make their workload harder. And so now he's making their workload harder because this dude, talk about imposter syndrome and feeling like, what in the world? And so I was thinking about all this morning. And that has been my go-to. Moses, like, dead or alive. If I could have lunch with anybody and ask questions, it would be Moses.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Who would yours be?
Oh, you can't spring a question like that on somebody. I've never even thought about it before.
Think about it while I get to my point. But it would be Moses.
Probably because Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
He's awesome.
He cannot tell a lie.
Well, that's what they say.
That is what they say.
We'll see, though.
I bet he was on the spectrum. I'm not kidding.
Dude, there's some books about him I've read that I'm just like,
Yeah.
how did you do what you did?
Yeah.
How? But anyway,
Yes.
Moses.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
That's how I am with Moses.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
because-
Moses is a cool dude. See, you can't
Well,
throw Moses
I
out there and be like,
know.
who's yours,
I
Whitney?
know, but it's because Moses in leadership dealt with people who didn't listen to him.
Yeah.
He dealt with imposter syndrome. You can't tell me he didn't deal with imposter syndrome. And everything I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
dealt with feeling like he wasn't enough, feeling like he wasn't qualified.
Yeah.
I mean, he said to God, and this is what I love, and this is what I fall back on. I'm getting to my point. He said to God, I don't even talk well. And God says, basically, you're going to rely on me, and I'm going to give you the words to speak and teach you what to say.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole point in imposter syndrome that I am getting to, I think to a degree, it is good that we do not feel qualified.
Yeah.
And because of that, we rely on the one who brought us to it in the first place. Now, if you're like, I am not spiritual, Megan, I am not, that's totally fine. Totally fine. I just, again, if you have followed any of my content, any of my stuff, I always relate back to the Bible. Totally fine if you're not jiving with it. It's just what I relate it to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to a degree, it's good because then we lean into the one who is going to get the glory in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But second of all, what I also learned from Moses' life is when you look at his entire life before he started questioning everything and all the things, you look at his life and he was being prepared without even knowing it the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, being adopted into the Egyptians, God was setting him up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He just thought it was like, oh, cool, you saved my life. But you look at that from, 2020 vision or whatever, and you're like, dude, God was setting you up
Yeah.
to have some relationship with these people.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I say all that to say imposter syndrome is so real. And it is something that we all experience. I have experienced it. I am 3 years into doing what I'm doing, so it's not as fresh as it used to be. But there are still times where something new will come up, and I'll go, I am not qualified for that.
Yeah.
I am not. But again, it's because it's new, and I know me, and I have to come. It takes me a minute to come to terms with what opportunities are laid before me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that I'm not qualified. It just means I have to catch up.
Or perhaps you're not qualified yet.
Yeah.
But you have the ability to get qualified
Yeah.
quick,
Yeah.
Something Philip and I Philip, my husband, I don't know why, I just feel like I had to clarify who Philip is
No.
and whoever is going to listen to this. So my husband and I, we built a chiropractic clinic over the course of many years, and I'm the chamber president of Nixa now, right? And I've started delving into public speaking, and something that we've talked about a lot in business ownership, in marriage, any of those areas, is there's really no comfort in growth, right? And so if you're feeling really comfortable and really like, oh my gosh, I am nailing this, you probably need to start expanding again and feeling that, what I would call imposters, feeling that discomfort of growth.
I would agree with
because I think that's what I have to remind myself of, because I'm feeling the imposter syndrome deep right now in some areas of, like, specific areas of my life.
Yeah.
And I have to remind myself, I'm hoping that I'm growing.
Yeah.
And maybe I haven't mastered this thing yet that I'm trying to dive into.
Yeah.
I haven't mastered it yet, and that's okay. I will eventually.
Yeah.
And so I am a little bit of an imposter right now. But you never leave that if you stop. You're never going to become the master of the thing if you just like walk away in the stages when you're becoming that.
Yeah.
And so, there's no comfort in growth. So just grow into it,
That is so true. There is no comfort in growth.
Yeah.
Like, just accept that now, guys.
Yeah.
Accept it now.
That and Moses.
It's that and Moses. Hey, did that make sense about what I said about Moses, though?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm trying to say that, guys, like, it is, and look at what Moses did. Like, look at where he started. It's very real. And then look at what he did. And so, I mean, he didn't make it out. It's fine. But let's not
dive
dive
too
to it.
deeply into
I'm
the
just
Moses
saying
story.
this. I'm just saying this for the technicality people that are like, yeah, but Megan. I always have to clarify that because I always know there's someone out there.
Someone's going to call in and be like,
I know.
Hey, could we ever take calls?
I know.
How crazy would that be? Like
I
a
don't
live
know.
show and people
Dude,
call in?
That would actually be pretty funny.
That would be funny.
It
Or a disaster. One of
It
those two
actually
things.
could, yes.
Anyway, I didn't mean
know.
to detract you.
No,
Imposter
you're totally
syndrome,
fine.
good thing. You're
But yes.
growing.
Yeah,
Moses
growing.
did great things.
Yeah. And I like what you said about being uncomfortable. And I agree with you. And if you do get to a place, 100%, I love that you said that. If you get to a place where you are comfortable, I think you need to evaluate what's
time to grow.
happening. Yes. And I'm I'm going to add this too about this isn't in our notes, but being around people that will force you to grow. Being around people that will I was actually talking about it with somebody about me and you in our conversations on here. Because I'm more of a, you're direct. I am not.
Okay.
And I appreciate that. And I told somebody, I said, I really like that she's bringing I like that she's bringing that, because that's not in my auto response. It's something that makes me nervous to be direct. And I told the person, I said, I really appreciate that she is, because it's going to cause me to grow. It's going to cause me to and I like that. But I'm also kind of that nature of, if there's something that I am not as strong in, I like surrounding myself with people who are strong in that area. I don't like the discomfort, but I like the discomfort. Does that make sense?
We don't like the discomfort, but we like the growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We like becoming something.
Yes. Like, I like that. Like, it was on the episode, guys, let me tell you something. Whitney and I
don't know if we should share.
Oh my gosh. Whitney and I did an episode.
Did we though?
Last week.
If you record an episode and it doesn't get recorded, did you do it?
Did the tree actually
make
a noise?
Fall in the woods?
Well, we did like an hour and 15 minutes of recording and got done, and it only recorded 3 minutes.
But man, the 3 minutes.
That was great. It was the best. And
best
Whitney,
3 minutes of our lives.
I just wanted to die. And I was like, Whitney. And she's like, Megan, what? And I said, Whitney. And then I said some other words that we're not going to repeat on here.
Yeah.
But
I remember that now.
Yes. And so this is actually our first recording.
That's
technically,
working.
Yes, that is working.
I keep watching the green lines.
Yes.
They're working. It's working.
Yes. Her job is to make sure it's recording, because she is facing the system that shows like a heart monitor lines.
Yeah.
And yes.
I know.
And I don't know what this is called. But also, me not knowing what this is called is also why I didn't record it. Because I am good at talking. This tech stuff is not what I am good at.
But we're going strong so far.
I know.
So at the very least, people have 30 minutes of something.
I know. Our heart is still beating on that thing monitor. So anyway, what was I talking about before that?
Oh shoot, I don't know. You like being around people who are
Grow.
direct.
This is what you said. Yes.
Yeah.
So you had said last week, I was like, yeah, I push doors down. And you're like, Megan, you're just like, that's not pushing a door down.
Because what you described was, I come up to a door, I knock nicely, and when they say no, I turn around and leave. That's what you described. That's not, nope.
In my mind.
You're like,
I push the door down. So anyway, Whitney just like totally called it out. She's like, that's not pushing the door down. And I was just like, and internally I was like, well, I thought it was. Anyway,
I'm surprised you've asked me back.
I know. Anyway, I say all that to say, I really like that there's such a different dynamic between the two, because you cause me to think and go, actually, another thing that you cause me to do is think about my wording, because I tend to use wording that makes sense to me. Also, because my mind moves 100 miles an hour, my mouth can't always catch up.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I say things that don't make sense. And so you like clarification, I think.
I do. I like precision of language.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not great at that.
Yeah.
And so
most people aren't, for what it's worth.
Okay. Well,
and I am not always, but I like precise language.
But see, it causes me to then go, I need to slow down. I need to slow down. I need to think more before I say something. And so it's really, and I was telling the person today, I was like, I really appreciate that having Whitney on is causing me to think about some things and to grow in certain areas, which to you guys, it may feel like minor stuff, but I like it. I appreciate it. And I think we need to, as a society, be more okay with people not being like us in every aspect and being different personalities, and to sit back and go, why did that make me uncomfortable? And most of the time, it's really not, because I think our auto response is to be offended and like, I can't believe she said I didn't push down the door. Or
I didn't know that bothered you so much.
It didn't. I had to pause and think and go, why did I feel like, because in my mind I did. But, and I'm not being cocky when I say this, emotional intelligence will cause us to pause and go, why did we, because I didn't.
Yeah.
And I used the wrong understanding and wording. And so it will cause us to grow through it and not be sour through it.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is awesome.
Yes. And so, and I think as a society, we have to start doing that more. Instead of our auto response being like, well, that made me uncomfortable. So now I'm not going to talk to her anymore. And it's like, okay, but why did it make you uncomfortable? And now, and honestly, I appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you.
And so instead of seeing it as a negative, and I really think that, I don't know why I even got on that tangent.
I think you just love me.
I do. I do. I do. I always, Whitney and I, for whatever reason, it's very natural and organic.
Yeah.
We just have a good time when we have a conversation.
We really do. If I text you back.
Yes, if you text me back.
Which I didn't.
It was a great idea. And I also, after that, I felt really creepy because I text you. And then have you ever text somebody and accidentally, instead of exiting the messaging app, accidentally hit the call button?
Oh, yeah. And then you're like, oh, no.
My gosh.
Yep.
And then I was like, so that's what I did. And then I hung up and I was like, oh, gosh, she's going to think
I did see a missed call from you. Oh, it's all coming together.
Yes. And I was like, and then I was like, do I now text her?
I'm like, wow, she really need. I actually assumed that your text came before, your call came before the text.
Okay.
Because I missed both.
Oh my gosh.
So don't worry about it.
It's awful. And I was like, do I text her and say I didn't mean to call and then blow up her phone with another text? And so I was like, nope, I'm just going to leave it.
Hey, for what it's worth, if you call me and don't leave a message, I will not call you back.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
To me, if it's not important enough to leave me a message, then you really didn't need me.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't even check my voicemail.
Oh.
I don't. Or my mailbox.
Girl.
My actual mailbox.
What?
Yeah. Like I check it like once a month. So if there's a bill in there, like I need the place to call
Next
me.
topic. How do you interact and have friendships with people who don't check their voicemail?
I don't check my voicemail because in my mind, that's where if it's really important, you'll text it to me.
Wow.
My voicemail actually says, this is Megan Deal. If you need to get a hold of me, please send me a text message.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I honestly, for what it's worth, also leave very few voicemails.
Yeah.
The only time I leave voicemails is with people I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Because they don't know who I am.
Yeah.
So I make sure that I introduce myself in the voicemail. We're in the weeds.
Yeah, we are in the weeds.
We've lost ourselves.
This is what happens.
I told
you in the beginning, we will not stay on track. Okay. Success guilt.
Success guilt.
Yeah, it's a thing. But you said you don't really struggle with it.
I don't struggle. Okay, I'm going to sound like a sociopath.
No.
I don't struggle with a lot of guilt, period. All right. I my whole life I've described myself as having an underactive guilt complex.
Okay.
I just don't deal with a lot of guilt. So success guilt for me, first of all, how about you describe for everyone what you mean when you say success guilt?
Okay.
Because I know what you mean because we've talked about it.
Yes. Yeah. So when you are moving forward, when you're growing, you're moving ahead, you're growing into, your full potential, you're expanding, all the things, and not everybody is catching up. And you feel twofold. You're growing out of the relationships because you're growing and these people aren't. And they're people that you really enjoyed, you had fun with.
In the phase you were in.
Yes. Or it's people who are really good people and they are trying to grow in their own way, but they're just not like you feel bad because they're not growing. And you're like, oh, shoot, I don't want to tell them about this major thing that just happened to me because I don't want them to feel bad.
Yeah.
And so I think it's twofold.
Well, yeah. So to that point, no, I don't feel a lot of success guilt because I think that if somebody is not good, people are excited for success, for your success. If they're feeling threatened by your success, then let them go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to feel guilty because what I'm doing in my life that's going well for me and my family threatens you in some way.
Yeah.
That is indicative of something incredibly unhealthy.
Yes.
And is it my job to figure out what that is? I don't think so. I'm not a therapist, and you're not paying me to be a therapist.
Yeah.
So to me, that's indicative of something highly unhealthy. People that I surround myself with, or I find who have maintained their position in my life, they celebrate with me.
Yes.
They don't feel defensive. They don't feel threatened. They celebrate wins. They don't try and shoot them down or minimize your wins because they don't have that.
Yep.
And I feel like those people will stick around naturally, and the other people will fall off naturally. And I don't feel guilt around that.
Yeah.
I do feel guilt around if I mistreat people, but that's different.
Yeah.
That's not success guilt. I was kind of being an ass guilt.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that on this?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well.
We'll see if Grace edits it.
That's me being a duty head guilt. Is that better? Keep that in, Grace. Keep that in.
It's okay. You guys should have heard me when
No, we're not saying those words.
We're not saying those words. Okay, so
but do you deal with it?
I do. But I am of the mind that I want to be everybody's cheerleader, and like.
But why can't you be their cheerleader and not feel guilty? Like.
Well, I guess let me restart.
Okay.
So if I am moving forward and somebody doesn't, I am very slow to announce it.
Okay.
To say it, because I'm very mindful. That's kind of my auto response already, is how can this go 10 ways? Mm-hmm. That's just in everything. It's just automatic. And so I'll go, how can this hurt this person? But I also have to stop and remember, and this is what I don't do. It is not my job.
Yeah.
It is not my job to carry people. It is not my job and I forget that often. I am not intentional with that thought. Just like earlier, the conversation, it's not my job to always be the one to carry the conversation.
Yeah.
But I think in my personality, I am a nurturer. I am a caretaker. It is to come alongside people. It is my Enneagram. If you do the Enneagram, I don't love the Enneagram.
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Okay, I'm a 2. And so
I'm an 8.
Are
we
you
shocked or what?
Okay, there we go. But I'm a 2, and I don't love it because I'm trying to grow out of some of that stuff. So I think that's why I don't like the Enneagram too much. I like it, and I don't.
You're like, I like it, but I don't like what I am in it.
But it's true. 2s have so much growth, I feel like, that they have to do so that they don't become a doormat, or like what I'm talking about now.
I haven't looked at the Enneagram in a while.
Go back and look at it too.
I'm going to go look at it too now that you've said that.
Yeah, I think my husband's an 8, actually. But I am a 2. And so there's things that I'm trying to grow out of, and I don't want people, like somebody said to me, and they're like, well, you're a 2. Are you able to, and I forgot what it was, but I was like, yeah, I'm able to do that because I can be intentional just because
Mind
it's
your
something.
Own business.
I know.
Jeez.
I was like, man, don't stick me in a box. So it is a thing. Anyway, I say all that to say I'm a nurturer. I'm a caretaker. Yeah. I naturally want to serve people. Like if you look at, and this is something I go to in leadership, I call people either a Moses or an Aaron. You're either a Moses or an Aaron. You're the one at the top leading.
We're really heavy in Moses today.
Dude,
My goodness, I love
Moses.
It. Clearly, he's the guy you'd meet.
I know.
Yeah.
And Aaron is the one who came alongside Moses and raised his arms. And so you're either an Aaron where you're raising people's arms. That doesn't mean you're not a leader. It doesn't mean that you don't have your own path, but you're more of an encourager.
Yeah.
You're more of a, how can I cheer you on in your season? That's what I am.
Yeah.
And so I do get success guilt. And then I also don't just get success guilt, but.
Go ahead.
Am I using wrong terminology?
No, I have a question.
Okay,
Can I ask you a question?
Ask it. Yes, please do.
So you're talking about you want to cheerlead people on.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that equates to having guilt around your own success. Like, why can't you be successful, guilt-free, and cheerlead people?
Yeah.
Like, why? What do those two things have to do with each other?
I think you can do both.
Okay.
I do think you can do both. I think in my terms, if something big happens, I am just more cautious as to who I share it with. Because
you're protecting their emotional reaction to
yes.
it. So it's not because you're not cheerleading them. It's because they're going to respond poorly to your success.
Or I just don't want them to, because I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like to be in a slow season or a season of, I'm not talking about work right now.
Yeah.
Like just in a hard season. And then to see everybody like moving forward, again, working through that growth and emotional intelligence and awareness, but in those seasons where you're still working on that and it just feeling like, God, that really sucks.
So I think it's appropriate to be sensitive to other people's states of being, especially people who are close to you. Like if you have close friends that you know are really struggling in some area and you're just killing it. It's kind of like in TV shows when somebody breaks up with their boyfriend and you get a new boyfriend, you don't tell them that you have a new boyfriend because they just broke up with their boyfriend, and like, I think that there's a value to being sensitive and giving people grace. When I was approaching this idea of success guilt, I was approaching it not as I'm giving grace to my friends by maybe not withholding my successes, but keeping them closer because they're not ready to hold them yet. That to me is different than people reacting poorly to my success, because I think there is a difference, and maybe I'm just splitting hairs here, but I do think there's a difference if I say, oh my gosh, I just got this huge promotion at work. I'm very excited about it. And I have friend A who, if I tell friend A, somehow they're going to twist it and make me feel bad. Because they're insecure, they're kind of a jerk. Like, yeah, they're my friend, but they're just like the worst. We all have somebody.
Yeah.
Versus friend B just got fired from their job, or they just got laid off because the company downsized. Nothing that has to do with them. They're struggling with their mortgage, and they're not ready to hold that. I can still hold it for my success and love it and enjoy that I'm growing. And when they're ready to celebrate with me, I'm going to share it with them. But right now, I'm respecting them by maintaining it away from them. I think there's a difference in those two things. And I was approaching it more like person A.
Okay, but person A, I would still struggle with. And this is what I have to grow through.
Don't do that.
I know, but this is what I have to still go through. I will shrink. For somebody who has no mind to be rude to me, I will still shrink back in order to make them feel comfortable. And that is an issue I have that I have been growing through. And there is growth in it. But I just, again, it is like to take care of people in an unhealthy way.
So let me ask this then. You just sat here and talked about how you love being around people who stretch you and who grow you and who push you. And then you turn around and say that you won't give that opportunity to other people when you're the one stretching and growing and pushing them.
I know. Because
that's what it is, right?
I know.
You're growing, you're killing it. Let them be stretched.
Yeah.
Let them be pushed or not.
Yeah.
That's their choice to make, They can say, I want to do that. I want to do what she's doing. Not I want to start a podcast, but there's something I've been wanting to do that I haven't been doing. And Megan gets out there and does everything she wants to do.
But I have to give them room to do that.
Well, yeah.
And I don't, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to coddle them, which honestly, and this is a self-awareness moment. I'm going to tell you what it is. That is actually not okay on my part, because I am basically saying these people don't have the capacity. And that's not a good thing to say or to think,
And at least for me, from the outside looking into this, you doing it has nothing to do with them doing it or not. And that's, I think, where maybe I approach it differently and I don't feel like I have this guilt. Because me going out and getting a promotion has no bearing on my friend doing anything in their life. None. There's no connection there. I can go and kill it and be just hitting on all cylinders. And my life is going just great. And that doesn't influence whether or not my friend can do whatever they want to do. Well, influence maybe a little bit, but it doesn't change. Like, they can do it or not. And I can still be doing this, and they can choose to follow their dreams or not. And so I just don't, I think that's where maybe I differ from you, is I don't see my success as impacting them. If they choose to let it impact them negatively, that's their problem.
Yeah.
And if it impacts them positively, great. But it's my life and I'm doing it,
Yeah.
So please celebrate with me or don't. That's your choice to make.
Yeah.
I've made my choices. So I feel like you're almost taking on the burden of that, and you really
it's something I do often. And that's, again, something I have to go through, is I am not responsible.
Yeah.
But I feel like it.
You don't have to fill the gaps of a conversation.
Exactly. But it's something I have to work through. And I do believe there are some, we're not going to get into this because this is not a therapist podcast. And
y'all think we're not going to get into it, but you haven't said it yet.
But I do know that there are some things in my life that is rooted in, and that's stuff that I have to, not being responsible for people that I'm not responsible for, not being the one who is holding everybody together.
So would it be safe to say, for those of you who don't have something that's rooted in the past, that are more like me, be comfortable in having your successes, and they can celebrate with you or not?
Absolutely.
But if there's something that's rooted in, go work through it.
Absolutely.
Is that safe to say to the listeners?
But and it's, again, working through it, getting not where I was, but there's just a lot of facets. And I think sometimes, it sometimes can be as simple as, I just do that, I'm not great at that. Or it can be as simple as, I got to pull a string. It's time to pull a string. It's time to work through that string so that I can become the best version of myself. Yeah. And, but I also want you guys to know, and I'm saying this, is that's not a bad thing if you have a string to pull. Like that, I don't want you to feel like guilt or shame or like, oh, shoot, I'm bad at this. everybody has a string to pull at some point for some reason. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But so please don't take that. But and the other thing too is, this is what I do. Anytime that with success guilt, so the other end of it, anytime I start to go, because I can be competitive. And so when I see somebody in the field that I am doing something and I'm like, oh, I'm not there yet. Yeah. This is what I will do. I will be extreme, because here's the thing. Everything is either a thought or it's a rooted thought. Mm-hmm. And I do not want that to be a rooted thought. Like, I do not, just because it is in our head doesn't mean it has to be, and it doesn't mean that has to be who we are. Yeah. It's just, give me some words for this. It's just life scenario. It just is. Yeah. Just because it's in your head doesn't mean that it's you, and it doesn't mean that you have to own it. And so in order to not own that competitiveness that's unhealthy, in order to not own that envy or that, like, because that can get ugly internally. Yes. And it can ruin relationships and friendships if you let it stew, if you let it plant and water it. So I will be very, very immediately intentional, and I will actively, now if I give you guys compliments or if I cheer you on, please do not associate it directly with this, because that is not always the case.
Especially since you just gave me a really big compliment like 5 minutes ago. I'm ready to hear the rest of this now. Let's go.
But I will be intentional. It has nothing to do with that. But I will be intentional, and I will be like, I know I love this person. I know I value this person. I know this person has strengths, and what they're doing is great. And we're going to pour into that. Yeah. And we're going to say, hey, you're advancing. You're in a season. How can I come alongside you? Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what this whole podcast is supposed to be, right?
Yes, exactly. And I'm saying that to say, just because you guys have a thought does not mean that has to be who you are. We are so human. If you meet one person who has never like had a competitive thought or jealousy or like envy, then they're lying to you. They're lying to you. It may not be something that happens for them all the time. It may not be something that's their auto response, but everybody's dealt with something like this at some point. So, but that doesn't mean we have to grab hold of it. And so I will encourage them, hey, you're growing. Again, if I say, hey guys, is there anything I can do for you? Please do not think that I'm being envious or jealous.
She must really want something I have.
I am saying, though, it is a tool that you can put in your pocket so that when you are struggling with a thought and you're like, I do not want this to take root because I love this person, I value this person, or you don't even know the person and you just don't want to be a dick. Like,
I will say, you just described, I think, the other side of that success guilt, that person who's watching that success and maybe having difficulty in celebrating it. Yeah. And I love the description, though, of maybe that's you right now. Maybe you're not dealing with the guilt of success because you're not successful. Yeah. You're watching watching your siblings have kids and you're not. You're watching your, friends get promoted or get the big jobs that you've been trying to get forever. You're watching, people buy homes and you can't afford one. You're getting divorced and your friends, name it. Yeah. Maybe you're just not there yet. Mm-hmm. And I love, though, that you just described a scenario in where you can recognize that has more to do with you than them. Mm-hmm. And should you swallow that to celebrate them? You got to decide. I don't know. Mm-hmm. If you can, because it's gonna grow that relationship, and that relationship has import to you, then grow that relationship. Mm-hmm. If the relationship doesn't matter, and you don't care, then go off and do your own thing. Yeah. But I love what you just described. It's just the awareness to be able to say, if we were on because we're talking about the success side of it, but what if you're on the other side of it? Yeah. I love the idea that you can have enough awareness to say, I'm not in a good spot, but I can find ways to celebrate their successes. Yeah. And I can still be in a not good spot and celebrate them at the same time.
Absolutely.
I can do that. Yeah.
And you are rewiring your brain. Mm-hmm. You're rewiring the brain's auto response. And the more you do it and the more intentional you are, your auto response is going to become less and less envy and more celebratory. Yeah. And
success is not a pie.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's plenty to go around.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And even in the same field. Yeah. And
you've been great. We've been talking about public speaking. Most recently that was our big conversation, not recorded, even though we probably should just record all of our conversations.
I know.
And I came to you and talked to, because you've done it. You've gone there. You've been there. You've been on stages that I want to be on. Mm-hmm. And there was never a feeling from my side of things that you didn't want me there, you know, that if I made it there, that you wouldn't have a space. And I loved that. Like that's that in action, you know, like, oh my gosh, yes, I have been there. Come, let's do it. Like, let's go together. You know, I wish more people would approach things
because
like that.
I think life is more fun when you do it with people.
Yeah.
Success is not fun when you're celebrating by yourself.
No.
But not just by yourself because it's your success. I want all of my friends to be. That's like that video I was talking to you about. I was like, I want everybody's business highlighted. Yeah. I want everyone to come with me. Yeah. I do not want to do this alone. Like, I want us to all be celebrating, and when everybody is coming with you, then the lows are more tolerable too, because then everybody gets it. Yeah. You're just a community. I am obsessed with community in probably the craziest way that people are like, dude, that girl needs to stop talking about it. But that is why, because when we're doing life together, it's so much easier. Yeah. Daniel and I, my husband's name is Daniel, and we're acting this is our very husband's name is Daniel, and hers is Philip. So this is another thing I think too, when you're in a season of slowness and you're not seeing it, serve. So a long time ago, Daniel and I both were like, we had this feeling like we were going to foster, but not at that time. And we're like, why do we keep feeling called to foster, but not actually foster? Yeah. So we were like, okay, we'll serve the foster community. And so it was like, we did some fundraisers, like whatever we can do, like, oh, you're fostering, what can we do? Do you need anything? And here's the things that can happen in that. One, you're getting more comfortable with the idea of, the more you're in it, the more you're like, okay, am I actually being called to do this? This is, I think it becomes more clear. Mm-hmm. And also you're learning. So when you're serving in an area that you're wanting to be in, but I'm also going to go back to this, Whitney, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Moses, let me just, I'm going to say this. I'm just going to say this. Okay. I'm just going to say it. Moses, the very last thing he did before God called him, and this is the way I look at it. You know how you have like different training. They give you the easiest piece of training first, and you work your way to the hardest. Moses, the very, very last thing he did before God called him to lead the Israelites out was that man shepherded his father-in-law's sheep. He served. And in my mind, when you look at the life of Moses, the fact that the very last thing he did before God called him to the hardest thing was serving, in my mind, that should tell us, and when you look at the life of Jesus, the most important thing for leadership, the most important thing that you need to do in your life, and the hardest, is serving. Mm-hmm. And I think there's so much power in that when you serve people, especially when you're in a hard season yourself, because I think there is a joy that comes from it that you did not realize that would come from it.
Can I also add to that
yes.
What you described as far as when you're feeling the insecurity and you're finding ways to support your friends who are in their period of success, their season of success, that is a form of service. Mm-hmm. And so service doesn't look the same for everybody. And I completely agree with what you just said, but being able to swallow your insecurities and celebrate someone is a form of that. Mm-hmm. And that'll take a lot of different forms. Mm-hmm. But I don't want anyone here being like, well, I don't know. Serve, what does that mean? Like, like a food pantry, you know? Which, sure, that could be that. Yeah, but it could be a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Basically, turning outside yourself, right?
Yes,
and pouring into other people.
Absolutely,
that's whatever that looks like.
Yes,
in your circle of influence, your sphere.
Yes,
go for it.
No, I love that, and I like that perspective because I think it is important.
Who knew we talk about Moses so many times?
Dude, I love Moses.
I'm gonna start tallying.
That's my dog. It's my dog.
I'm gonna start tallying.
Okay.
3 times today so far.
I think it's been more than 3.
4 times today. And we only talked about Abraham Lincoln once, but I don't have anything else to say about Abraham Lincoln besides he was a cool dude.
I'm telling you, it's a thing. Sometimes I do so many references, and I'm just like, Megan, rein it in.
No.
But then I'm like, you know what?
Don't rein it in.
I am not going to rein this in. because I know somebody is going to hold on to that nugget.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you are right. And I'm glad that you said that because, yes, serving, it looks so different. I think everything that we say, I know for some people who are very black and white thinkers are like, oh, no, they said this, so it's got to be like this. But no, please take it and expand on it. What does that mean to you? I love that. That self-reflective, like, what does that mean to you? What does that look like for you? And I guess there is wrong ways, but there's no.
Ooh, what's a wrong way? I'm just kidding. Don't answer that question.
I don't know. Let's look at Moses and find out.
Moses has a wrong way? For sure. We'll come
so
back
funny.
next time. We'll be
Next
talking about
time.
Moses and the wrong ways you serve.
Oh, so this is what we got. Imposter syndrome, success skill, walking into a room where you know no one, networking. I hope you guys have some takeaways. I'm Megan.
And I'm Whitney.
All right, guys. We will be back. Whitney and I will be back every month.
Amen.
Amen.